Gruesome Magazine.
Oh, once again, I am Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, the one and only Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are looking at Chucky, Episode 6, streaming on USA and SYFY. Oh boy. All right, before we get into it, let me introduce the crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Well, I'm pretty good, depending on the answer to these two questions, Doc.
Yes.
How many dolls do you live with? And how long have you been keeping a living head of Chucky locked in your safe?
Yeah.
Both of those would incriminate me, so I'm not going to answer either one. Thank you very much. Also joining us this week is the one and only Crystal Cleveland, the Living Deck Girl. How you doing?
So on that same subject, I am not kidding you. Like, I have been chosen for the census in like 3 different homes. It's such BS. It's so annoying. And they will call and call and call and come by and call, and they will be up your booty hole if you don't answer them.
Your
so just
booty hole?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Whoa, what kind of censors are coming to your house?
The booty hole police.
That's more of a porn than an actual event.
Oh, me.
I'm kind
Booty hole police. Oh my God.
Oh, dear God. All right. Also joining us is Christopher G. Mohr. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
You were doing even better until the booty hole police showed up.
Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, that just sounds like bow chicka bow bow. That means it's about to cut in. Like, I'm here to censor you, lady.
Your bleach order's here.
We did a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie on the classic era, so my mind's still stuck.
All bets are off. All right. Well, let's dive into this. What we're going to do first is give our first impression. That will be spoiler free. Then we're going to get into a discussion, and we will dive into spoilers and all kinds of goodies. And there's a lot in this one. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score of 1, 2, 5, and our favorite scene. Oh, and of course, before we do, if you enjoy this, we hope you do. Not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you want to help us, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below. The like button, even better. Or share with a friend. It'll all help us out, and it's free and easy. Thank you. And of course, we want to hear your comments. Leave those down below. All right, what are we talking about tonight? Chucky, Episode 6, Cape Queer. Aired on SYFY and USA Network on November 16, 2021. Directed by Samir Rehem. Writer is Kim Garland. Created by Don Mancini. Thank you. The cast includes the regulars, including new this week, Alec Vincent and Christine Elise. Hey, those are names you might recognize. And the synopsis is, as the body count in Hackensack continues to rise, Lexi and Junior's relationship becomes strained while Jake and his friends set a risky trap for Chucky that could have dire consequences if it backfires. And it will. All right, let's find out what our first impressions are. And you know what, Chris? I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. You go first.
This episode had 2 what moments.
What?
Especially the end. I'm like, what? And they definitely they definitely dive into the Cape Fear references, that's for sure. Because there's like one point where they're playing the music, like, that's the Cape Fear music, and then like, oh, there's the movie too on the TV. But yeah, this episode was interesting. I will say it had its ups and downs. It had some really interesting aspects, I'm this time around, I'm not really liking the look of Charles Lee Ray. It's starting to look less like, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe they just go away from that at some point. As much as I like Fiona Dora, I don't know. It's still that uncanny valley aspect of it. It kind of pulls me out of it. But other than that, I mean, I like I like the sort of the different storylines going on. Although, well, I won't say this because it'll be spoilery. But at the same time, I think we do have the return of some other characters from the movies that I liked parts of it, and then other parts that just I don't know. a grizzled Andy doesn't really work so well for me. I don't know. He's trying to. I mean, they're trying to be very Pulp Fiction-y, I guess, and it just to me it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really work. I want it to work because I like that. I want Andy to be that sort of like, like when most of your final girls or final boys or whatever, when they turn into the like, oh, I'm going to go after him, kind of like Laurie Strode. But I don't know, something about it, his delivery didn't really sell it for me. But I mean, I like that aspect of it and I want to like it, but I don't know, something about it, that performance didn't work as well for me. And I think that to me, that's the weak point of the episode, even though I like that aspect of it and I want to see them. But yeah, overall, I think it's another good episode. And again, this episode is not pulling any punches. There's something that happened. There's two things that happen. I'm like, whoa, that's messed up.
It is messed up.
These kids need extra psychological help after this. But yeah, I love that this show keeps making situations happen that makes me like, oh, I was not expecting that. I kind of like that aspect of it. And also I wanted to point out, I don't think we've talked about it this whole series. I love the title sequence because it always changes and it always has aspects that, like the hospital episode, it was hypodermic needles and, and this one it's got shards of glass. And then the other one they had like Chucky dolls. And I mean, I love that they all, whatever the theme or whatever's happening in the episode, it becomes the titles. So to me, I'm always looking forward to who are they to do with the titles this time? So yeah, I think I had likes and dislikes about the episode, but still it's got some amazing moments. But there's even a really great moment between Fiona and Tilly that's kind of interesting and fun too. And
yes.
So I don't want to say too much to give anything away, but yeah, I liked the episode. There was certain things that like, I'm not so sure about this.
All right, Jeff, sir, your first impression of Chucky episode.
I kind of liked all of it. I thought I kind of like the Andy character as a badass. And I loved having some other returning characters, I guess, without giving that away. Some great kills, some great setups. Stuff happens bang, bang, bang. Probably the one slow part is the scene between where there's no real big action, is the scene where Chucky / Nika and Tiff / Jennifer are playing cards, and that's a great scene. And I didn't have a problem this time around. I had a problem with Charles Lee Gray last time, but this time I didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just accepted it, and I wasn't focusing on looking at the problem. I was just really kind of getting into it. The body language that she was using and the etc. So I enjoyed this one a lot, and I love the dark place it took us.
The dark places. Yeah, I think putting it in broad daylight was a kind of a harsh thing to do for what you guys are talking about with that, Tim.
Well, there's are they all? No,
the other one was inside of a bar and it worked a little better. But Crystal, you're up next. What was your first impression of episode 6?
Okay, so I enjoyed it, but I kind of agree with Christopher too. I love Alex Vincent, who plays Andy, but he just doesn't have that grit. He needs to. I think he could have it. I think he just needs to, like, you know, work on it a little. And I think he could be successful at it. But I agree, it didn't like resonate. I didn't feel his toughness. I didn't feel him. I didn't feel him being hardcore. Like, I don't know. I guess I resonate hardcoreness because, you know, I'm just kind of like. But when he does it, it's like, aw.
It's like, oh,
You know?
that's sweet.
I did love the concept of it. I loved the whole census thing. Oh my God. I think it was really funny. I think it was great the way it was done. I think the weird and odd question. That whole scene, even though him, meh, you know, I still really enjoyed it. And I think it was clever and well done. I am really fascinated though. I really did like the episode, but I think I agree. Oh, sorry. I agree with Christopher. That was my one weak point. It wasn't enough to make me dislike the episode. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, I see that as a little deficit. But oh my gosh, I just don't even know where they're going to go with this because I know we're not doing spoilers. So, but there's some stuff that happened and some things that were revealed, and I'm like, so where does this take us?
I don't know what's next.
You know, and does this mean the same thing could be happening to Jennifer, or could it happen to Jennifer, or will it happen to Jennifer? I have so many questions. So this could be really interesting. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the episode. It was, you know, oddly enough, I didn't really notice any shots that stood out to me, like some of the past episodes, but nothing seemed poorly shot either. So, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think this was definitely it was introducing some new characters and taking care of some other ones.
Yeah, getting rid of a few.
Yeah.
Oh, and those were great shots. But anyway, all right. So I enjoyed this. I like having our characters from the first episode, you know, the first Child's Play movies coming back. Andy, what's the other name?
Oh God,
Kylie.
Kylie.
Oh my God.
I want to make sure I have it. Yeah, Kylie. Yeah, Christine. Maybe.
See, that's all I could remember. Is
yeah, I know. It's like
I know,
if I couldn't remember the characters, but it was great seeing them back, and I liked the Pulp Fiction aspect of it. I mean, it was heavy with the shot, but I don't know. It was fine. Yeah, I agree with you with what you're saying, that there's a little warming up to the whole, you know, adult Andy bit or gritty Andy bit, but it didn't bother me to give him a, you know, really strong pass. I think I was just, maybe I was, you know, the nostalgia of it wouldn't be over, but it was great having them on within the movie and within the show. I'm glad that we're still hanging out with Zachary or Jake and Devon and Lexi and Junior. I'm actually grown to like those characters, so that I was kind of afraid we were going to transition from them to everybody else. So the fact they're still getting some screen time, I'm actually happy with them. I like how their stories, their individual stories are progressing. You know, there's until the ending, you know, it looked like there was a bright spot in their future, but I guess that's over now. We'll get there. But you know, and I like having Fiona and Jennifer Tilly back. So it had all the right elements. It felt a little packed and busy at the same time because, you know, we're following 3 different stories, but at the same time, it made it fast and paced really well, and the show paid off. I think it really, like Christopher said, it really surprised me. I was shocked at least 2 scenes, very much so. And yeah, that one therapist that's in the show is not going to cut it. They're going to have to get some more therapists lined up.
They need an army.
They do, a whole staff. But let's talk. Okay, so there's 3 separate storylines going. You know, there's Jake and Devon and all the rest of them. There's what it was, Tiff and why am I blanking out on the name? Somebody help me out here.
Nika.
Nika, thank you. And then, of course, we have Kylie and Andy back. So we do, but they're all converging, and we know they are, and each one kind of steps that direction. So it doesn't feel too lost, right? But what do we think of?
They even had interaction. So, I mean, you see where it's going.
Yeah.
You see what the, well, not what the end game is. I honestly, I mean, I have no idea. This could go so many different ways.
Well,
really
what do we, so we all agree that, you know, the storylines are intertwined in a way that seems natural and fresh and not pulling us out of it.
No, not
what are the aspects of the Nika and Tiffany one that stood out to you, Crystal? Because you said you really liked that.
Yeah, but now what? Now what? Now I'm like, are they gonna bring? I mean, are we spoiling?
We're in spoilers, so go for it.
Just making sure, because this is a big one. Like, now that it's not Nika and it's, I mean, now that it's not Chucky and it's Nika, I mean, she could go back, transition back. I don't know. I'm just like, why would she keep her around? I guess because she has a bit of Chucky inside of her. I don't know. I feel like, is she going to go back and forth? Is she going to be living this whole, like, obviously Jennifer was just messing with her when she had the whole, or Tiff was just messing.
Well,
we
got Nika pretending to be Chucky. Are we going to get Chucky pretending to be Nika?
Ooh,
because he doesn't want Tiffany to get rid of him. Because she said she liked Nika better than Chucky.
She was just messing with her.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Was she being honest, or was she?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I feel like she seemed like she was getting flustered with how Chucky was being towards her.
Fair enough.
And I think Nika, she can be the more controller in that relationship. So I think she sees that aspect of it. And so maybe that relationship is.
Well, I thought she was being legit until she bopped her
in the hand. Yeah. Then it makes you wonder what's going on.
Nice.
Right?
And then I'm like, oh. Maybe she just knows Nika won't be fully on board just yet.
Yeah, maybe. And the whole house thing was fun.
Well, yeah, she's got to beat the shit out of her to get her to, to think her way. But I think because I think towards the end when the whole, I don't know, I thought the whole goofy thing of the hand sticking out of the luggage was kind of stupid. That seemed like something out of like a parody bit or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It didn't. I mean, as much as I'm talking about a show that involves an reanimated doll with a dead soul in it, I don't know. Something about that just seemed like something you'd see like in a Mel Brooks film as opposed to. So I don't know.
I liked it. And Jennifer Tully was really.
Well, I think
Billy
she
really
sold it, but to me
that
I think that was a moment where like I'm not. That just seemed a little too outrageous, despite everything that's happening on this show. But yeah, I think there seemed to be an exasperation at some point with Tiffany. I don't know if it's just one of those things to where maybe Chucky's starting to wear on her or something at this point. I don't know, or maybe just embodying Nika's body. Maybe there's a difference there or something. But I don't know. Because they seem to be so like much in love. You know,
well, they were obviously together for a while before.
But it's also one of those things to where like this Chucky is embodying Nika's body, so I think somehow maybe she's realizing, I like this version of Chucky better because maybe she's giving into that side of herself, and then like. At the same time, if I can be more controlling over this person as opposed to her being more controlling over me. So I don't know. I mean, I think that adds an extra element of story to it if they're not like so full in love with each other.
Right. There's a crack in the armor. I like that. I also like the fact that they really embrace the fact that Tiffany has possessed Jennifer
Yeah.
Tilly.
Jennifer? Yeah.
I know. And they even said, thank you, Miss Tilly, right? When she bought the house.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Would you like my autograph? Yeah.
No, I gotta go. This is weird. I really like that. I forgot that that's what actually happened, and I love that they're embracing it. So
You forgot.
I forgot. It totally slipped my mind until they showed it today in this episode.
I'm like,
so
no,
yeah.
of course. That was one of my favorite whole. She's like, I want to be Jennifer Tilly. I want to be a star.
And it works. It works so great.
And then
Oh my gosh.
her money too, Chucky. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so let's talk the elephant in the room, which is the two big kills. And we know that Junior and Devon are going to be messed up.
I shouldn't be laughing.
They're going to be messed up kids. Can you imagine?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm not convinced. I'm not 100% convinced that Devon's mom is dead.
Her head was twisted around.
Twisted all the way around.
Yeah, but you can. Well, look, we've seen enough of stuff like this where I could see an ambulance come, paramedics come running in and put her on a backboard and revise her, and she's in restraints and traction in the hospital, But I thought she was dead until I started thinking about it now. But anyway,
we could have another paraplegic in
Yeah.
our midst
Yeah.
that Chucky could control.
Wow.
You know what
No,
I mean?
her head was full.
Well, her head was very like death becomes her.
Yes,
It was kind of twisted around there, but I mean, you never know with this show. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe her son will get that voodoo book and
That's concerning, but that
and
could
figure
be
out something.
true.
But my worry is, are there going to be any adults left by the end of this series to where it becomes like Children of the Corn? I mean, how many adults? I mean, who's going to be do we even have any other major characters that were police in this town?
What?
Yeah, they've already.
There are police? No. It's probably going to be Kylie and Andy. Will be the. I mean, they're not cops, but they're the doers of good, so to speak. The saviors, maybe.
The escapees from the asylum.
And we saw 4 episodes, so there's a long way to go, actually. Oh my God.
the Junior's mom, that was just how that face was protruding through the windshield right in front of his face with blood dripping into the car. Oh my God.
Well, at first it was very like into Die Hard.
Yeah.
It was very beautiful. I had this beautiful song when she's flying back. And then all of a sudden, boom, and you have your dead mom's face. I'm surprised Junior is cognizant of anything. I think if that happened to my parent, I think I would just be
jelly.
I'd be in
a
mental coma.
Wasn't the last time we saw him, he was just screaming, wasn't he? Or no, later on he goes they're
on the house with the.
It's super weird that she would take him to her therapist and leave him in the car.
The only reason I bought it was because of the discussion they had before.
Yeah, but he could have come into the waiting room. There's waiting rooms for freaking reasons. Okay, let's just be real. This was obviously a little bit odd.
Maybe
He's
she was also she's afraid he'd go in and listen.
Well, then maybe she needs to take him home first.
Maybe. But
she doesn't have to worry about that.
We couldn't have had this great scene now. What's the matter?
She kept her eye on him by the end of it.
I think it would have been better had she needed to run into her therapist to get a prescription or to get something else rather than a full session. That's all I'm saying. I think that would have been
So where was Chucky? Because I heard
you
could hear him chuckle when she's walking out around the car, but where was he?
I presumed he was in the car. Under the car in the trunk. Who knows?
Well, I like freeze framed that. That was he hanging under the car? But I couldn't.
I was
see
thinking that too. I was like, he's in the trunk. Where is he just?
Well,
he's doing something.
It was like very ghost-like.
We're not. I think the truth is, I just think there's more than one here, more than one Chucky. And that's how he's getting.
But didn't they
places
say
like
that there was only one left?
Yeah, that's what they said. They said, well, there's two. There's one in
Who
the
said
doll,
that?
and then there's
That's
Nika.
what we can assume.
But then Tiffany
That's
just
true.
got a box of something. Was that another
Yeah.
Chucky doll?
It's totally possible because, like, we can assume that that's what it is. But
Or it might be.
Maybe
I bet
another
it might be.
Tiffany.
I was gonna say it might be a Tiffany doll that she.
Ooh.
Oh, is she going to transfer Fiona into the Tiffany doll?
Ooh. I wasn't thinking that, but that's a cool idea.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because then that would give her mobility, wouldn't it? Or would she
Yeah,
still
it
be?
would give her mobility, and then Charles could have that body all to himself.
Because she could say,
Nika.
"Hey, you know, if you want to be able to walk again, and I can transfer you to this doll."
No, she's not going to ask.
Well, no, she's gonna do it. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ways this show
Oh,
could
that would be fun.
turn out.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Tiffany in doll form this season, so I want to.
Well, when she transferred herself out of her doll, she transferred herself completely, not like
What-
how Chucky did it.
Yeah.
Where he's transferring
What if it's
portions.
What if it's a new doll? Maybe
it would
this
need to be
series will
new,
create
yeah.
a new doll that she'll
Fiona.
transfer Fiona into, and then we'll get like a Fiona version
A
I would-
of a
Fiona
female
doll?
doll,
But she's not a killer, so it's gonna
or
be like...
Nika doll, I guess.
Nika.
Oh yeah, sorry. I keep messing their names, their real names, and their character names. I'm like, I need to keep that straight. But
Maybe it's what's the one from Seed of Chucky? Maybe it's
Glenn.
Glenn, or is it
Glenda.
Glenda? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
when
Glenda,
They
yeah.
they became twins. Remember?
Well, you know,
No, I don't remember that one much.
They became twins. When she had the babies. There's a boy and a girl.
I think I've blocked out a lot. Some of those
No, there was
movies.
a Glenn and Glenda because it was a takeoff on Ed Wood,
yeah, on
but in the last, was it which one of those had the
Only
fake
one of
that and the doll that Andy planted that had the haircut?
That was Cult of Chucky.
That was called. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's also the head. Did they destroy the head? Is the head still there?
I think the head probably still exists. I don't know what it would.
I
take
think
to
it's still there.
actually
They
kill it.
didn't.
Yeah. He's had it for 4 years, locked in there. But they said thank you for taking care of that. So I'm not really sure. You know, did Kylie do something? I don't know. There's a lot to find out. There's a lot to find out. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Christopher G. Mohr, sir, you are up first.
Yeah, this show had probably two of the most shocking moments of the whole series, I think. Just because, I mean, one of them I kind of predicted previously, but the second one I was like, well, like Jeff said, we don't know for sure.
She's probably dead, but
this is a horror universe. You never know.
That's true.
If people are dead or not, and they can always bring people back to life and blah blah blah. But yeah, I liked the episode just based on just the different elements we got into. I did kind of like the Cape Fear parallel, which actually that had the more visually interesting moments, I think, of the series, the way they did the camera work and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get that sort of Die Hard moment with the woman falling backward. But yeah, I don't know. There's some moments I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too nitpicky. I think the Charles Lee Ray stuff. I feel Fiona is like acting her heart out, but I don't know. Something about the makeup just doesn't. It's too shiny. It's just I don't know. Something about it doesn't look right. But and still, it's kind of weird hearing her dad's voice.
All right, well, that's a little strange. Yeah.
I don't know, something about to me, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. And as much as I like Andy and I like that aspect of it, I don't know, something about his delivery. Maybe he's delivering it more just like a monotone serial killer or something. He's just so like he delivers it so nicey nice. I kind of wanted him to be like, I just wanted to be more. Maybe it's just I don't know, but I like that aspect of it. I want him to be this guy going after in the same way we have the Laurie Strodes of the universe or the Nancys of the universe. So I kind of want that, but I don't know, something about it, I didn't really sell it 100% to me. And so as much as I'm still enjoyed it, because just the whole flashback with the Chucky head and stuff is kind of fun. But overall, I don't know. It's still, and again, my jaw was a drop. By the end, I was like, whoa, whoa. I was like, and it's the same about where are these kids going to go from here? They've just, they have a dead body. So I don't know how.
Where's Devon going? I mean, like, where's he going to go?
I like. Is this going to be like an orphanage of all these dead kids with dead parents are living at the house? I don't know what's going to happen, but that's why I'm like, I can't wait to see next week how this turns out or how even more effed up it's going to be. So I will give it. I'll give it a 3 point.
You better go 7.5. Come on. I could tell you're teetering between a 0.5 and a 0.75.
You're not my mom. Push you out a window. 3 point. I'll give it 3.75.
Yeah. All right.
And favorite scene. I'll say that. I'll say the Die Hard villain scene of the mom leg.
Yes, it was so well done.
They play this beautiful. I forgot what the name of the song is. I've heard the song before, but this beautiful song, and then Chucky's like, and this is how it ends up. Like, wow, that's so effed up. Dom Mancini is not pulling any punches with this series, man. These kids are going to be so effed up. They're going to be the new, and they're going to be just as effed up as Andy is when they grow up. If they get to grow up.
If they get to grow up. That's a good point. All right, Jeff, you're up next, sir. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
I thought I really liked this. This is one of my favorite ones. I thought Alex Vincent, I thought he did a lot better job acting than he did in like Curse and Cult. In those, I felt like he was. So he seemed more confident and assertive, and so I don't know. I enjoyed it, and I also I'm starting to really like Fiona as Charlie Lee Gray too. So or Chucky Lee Gray. So and there's just so many. To me, it was like one great scene after another because I love the car sales. I love the house.
Yes,
selling. I love the the card game and on from there. So favorite scene I could easily take. I mean, I just absolutely loved the census takers right at the beginning.
Nice.
Partly because we get those two characters back, but I'm going to pick the house sale scene just because that realtor was falling all over herself. Kissing up to who she thought was Jennifer Tilly until Jennifer Tilly said, my fiance and I, this is the house where he grew up. Yes, the murders. Mm-hmm. And then, so lots of memories. And then all of a sudden the real estate agent is like, well, I got to go. We'll see you later. With total about turn. And I thought I liked that.
I did too. Fun. It was good. Or did you give the score? Did we
4.25?
4.25. Excellent. Crystal, you're up next. Final thoughts, score, favorite scene?
Okay, so I'm gonna give it a 4. It's less than last week, but I liked what it had in it, but I have to agree there were some weaker spots in this episode. Still good. The whole series as a whole. I think this is such an interesting episode. I think it's just, this has paved the way for the final 4, and oh my, I don't know where they can go from here. I mean, there's only so many people left, so obviously my favorite scene is what Jeff was gonna take, but it's specifically like when he's like, Andy, you made me do this. And then he's like, F you, Andy. I was like, her doll's just fine. There's no problem. And then he's like,
Pulls it, yeah.
I was like, oh wow, okay, that's spooky. I was like, and then she's like, thank you so much for your cooperation.
They're all like, oh man, that was one dead Chucky doll on the floor.
Well, but see, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, there could totally be. They think they know how many there are, but I mean,
it's a cult. There's a bunch.
Yeah.
They got to have something for season 2, right? So I enjoyed this quite a bit. I like the progression of the stories. I like the introduction of the new characters last week, and then now more new characters this week, and how they're intertwined and pointing toward the same direction. So I'm enjoying the build up, and this, like you said, has 2 very shocking scenes. One you see coming, but you don't see how the impact pun on word that was going to be, right? And then the second one was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think they were going to go there at all. Yeah. So yeah, hats off to surprising me, and I like that. I'm going to give it a 4. And the scene that I picked out was the falling from the window because it was just so well done. But since it's already been picked, what do I go? I'm going to go with. I think we mentioned it. It was a poker game, right? They were playing poker, and just Nico's just desperately trying not to let it, out that she's there and it's not Chucky. I really like how she's playing those 2, back and forth, because now she's played 3 versions, right? And 4 if you count, the flashback, because she's played the full Chucky one, she's played her, and now she's played her trying to be Chucky, and it's all different, and it's all really cool. And she's really impressing me with her acting chops on this, and so did Jennifer Tilly. To be honest, I really liked how they were. She, because you knew from the dialogue what she was up to. She's like, okay, you're in trouble. She's on to you. Yeah. And then to find out that she had jabbed her leg like 20 minutes ago. It's like, oh, well, I guess so. Yeah, so good surprises, good plot twists. Really well shot, really well done. I'm 4 more episodes and I'm in. I want to know.
Yeah, I wanted to mention when they bought the car too, though, because I thought that was pretty funny when we're giving you a new paint job, and then he kind of falls over, and his last words are, "That'll be $1,000."
I know, I heard that.
And Tiffany goes, "Oh, so cute."
Yeah, that's sweet, right?
Well, although I was thinking, like, how is that family going to explain why this doll has guts inside of it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
No, it's
first the dog
traumatized for sure.
Too.
Yeah.
But
they're not going to tell anybody about it.
I don't know how you're going to explain that.
They're not. They're just going to.
No.
The dad's taking it out back, chopping up in little pieces, burning it, and then scattering it down the
Another traumatized kid in this Chucky verse.
Then the house is on the market the next day, and off they go.
Yeah. How do you explain the bullet holes? I don't know what you're talking about.
The what bullet holes?
Yep. Nope.
They probably buried the rest of her dolls as well.
Yeah, I know. Just get rid of all of them. I don't think she would want them, would she? Oh man, that was yeah. Wow. All right, guys. Jeff, Crystal,
good one.
Thank you for joining me. This is a lot of fun. Looking forward to covering the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, to see what other effed up stuff we're going to see.
Up. All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.